starter and the main course. So it was like, and it wasn't even that. It was like maybe a couple hundred people, like quite small as these things go. But the point is before on the evening of, I was like, I don't want to go.
Started again.
And I said, I knew I had to go, but I said to Nancy, my wife, I was like, I am not feeling this. She's like, what is it? I said, I can't. You know, I don't know. I just feel really anxious. And she's like, but you're not even giving a speech, are you? You know, because sometimes it's that, like, what if we win and I have to give a speech, or you're worrying about whether you're going to win. It's like, I knew I was an honoree, and I knew I wasn't going to say I wasn't going to have to give a speech. And it was just the idea of having to talk to people, like, and in a relatively high wattage setting. So you think, like, I don't want to be wandering around like a blithering idiot. So there's a sort of little stress that sits alongside that. But there was no real reason on paper why I shouldn't have been thinking, well, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be a night I'll remember my whole life, you know. And I attempted to adjust my mindset. You know,
Roxy, that's not your food.
McKenna like, or Uri Geller like, you know, just visualize. Think about what this is. This is going to be, no one's expecting anything of you. This is a chance to sit down with some amazing people and have fun. But nevertheless, for the first kind of hour, I was there just thinking, I kept just sighing. And Nancy was like, what's the matter? So I think that's just, I think that's in me. It's probably in a lot of people, and you just deal with it. But you know, why should that be the case? I don't really know why.
Is it something that comes with a cost, and is it something you want to change? If you're being really honest.
If I could dial down, I think sometimes, I think I have changed it, actually, is the first thing to say. Because there were times in my life where I said no to things just because I thought that's going to be... A bit like, you know, I did the maypole dancing in the end and it went fine. I did learn, this will surprise you, but I did learn how to read. And, you know, despite all the anxiety I had about doing that. And so, and then as life went on, I think there were times when I said no to things, opportunities, which probably, just because the idea, I was asked to go on David Lesman's chat show when it was on CBS.
Before?
This would have been in around 2001, and I said no because I thought that's just going to make me anxious. And looking back on it, I probably wish I'd done that.
Why would that make you anxious?
I find the chat show experience not especially. I mean, I've done it a few times, and as life goes on, it seems, you know, the idea of public speaking, or, you know, when I first got into TV, it was like, why am I doing this? This is not me. Like, this is not what I was cut out for. This is not something that I aspire to do, and it sounds really, you know, the whole notion of it feels intimidating and just a bad fit.
Got enough, little
And
dude.
nevertheless, I knew that, you know, just briefly, like I was working in magazines as a journalist in New York, and I aspired to be a TV writer, partly as a way of sort of avoiding comparison with my dad. Not directly, but I suppose that was in my mind, was like, I want to write, be creative, but I know I'll never write books. You know, I didn't feel like when I wrote, it didn't feel especially as though it came as easily as it should. You know, it's hard, when your dad, like I relate to people with famous parents, like, you know, people like, you know, Jacob Dylan.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan's son. I don't know why I reached for that comparison, but Jacob Dylan, that track, One Headlight, do you remember that one? For people who know. You know, it's a great track. It was a huge international hit. His dad's Bob Dylan. That's a painful, maybe not painful, but that's an extraordinary legacy to be born into. And